Lesson number 7 of the Trust Me course. This is Angie Johnson, and I hope you are learning so much about yourself, learning so much about the relationships in your life, how they support confidence or how they do not. And today we are going to put it all together and we're going to just get practical about this. I firmly believe that if you're going to learn anything in self-help, if you're learning about yourself and you're beginning to understand things in a better way, that we also have to give you practical things that you can use and apply in your life. If we just tell you the stuff and then you finish the course or you finish the book and you go out into your life and you don't know how to actually apply what you learned in your everyday experiences, it does you very little good. Yes, you may feel better, you may have healed some from it, but you may not know how to do it. What does that look like? So that's what we're going to do today, is give you some very practical, how do you use this? How do you use your new confidence? How do you protect it? How do you grow it? How do you find the balance in those relationships? So that's what we're going to work on today. It is now time to implement the practical application of what we've learned here. I want to give you some action steps to begin taking to make space to grow your confidence, to protect your growing confidence from yourself and others, and to find and maintain a healthy confidence or power balance within your relationships. First, let's review. What does it mean when we say we have low self-esteem or poor self-confidence? The short answer: the two parts of our mind have yet to come to peace and find the balance with one another. The inner child doesn't feel safe or confident to be its truest, purest expression, and the caretaker is not strong enough to create that space and boundaries for the inner child to express while protecting and shielding it from the judgment and opinions of others and itself. I don't know if you've ever stopped to take the time to even think what it means to have a healthy confidence, or what it means when you say you've got poor self-confidence, but that is the short answer there. And I never really had either until working on this course and really going deep with it and asking the question of, what does that even mean when we say that? What part of us is not confident? What part of us needs help? How do we help that part of us? What is it even, how do we do this? Because anytime you're working with the mind, it's invisible, as in it's not a tangible thing that you can hold out in front of you and say, oh, well, we just need to flip this switch and do this and do that and it's all good. The mind is a very vague thing, and it's hard to understand how to fix something we can't actually hold out in front of us and look at. So I really wanted to go deep on that question and find out what this is, what part of us holds the confidence, and how do we grow it, and how do we support that growth? How do we increase self-esteem and raise confidence? We must create a nurturing environment for growth. We must know who we are and what has cut our confidence plant down in the past. We must understand the tendencies of our own minds. We must heal from those past experiences. We must heal by having the inner child express and release the pain. We must help it understand and accept some truths of the situation, the past situation. Then we must learn to talk to it or ourselves in a kind, loving, patient, tolerant, I put loving twice, way. This will set up a nurturing environment for your inner child to grow in confidence. Once the caretaker has made peace with the inner child and you can come to accept your true nature, you must begin to grow in strength. Let's look at this here. Number 1. Know if you had environmental or genetic factors prohibiting your confidence growth as a child. Remember in lesson 1 we talked about environmental meaning you had either a parent who was in the health type of the tall growers, the diplomat, the censor, or crusader, or they could have been any health type. The genetic factor is just one of many factors who could shape someone to be overly confident. I just give you that genetic factor to kind of help you narrow it down because there is a pattern there. But that is only one factor. If you're a crusader taking this course and you're like, yeah, I know I have a genetic factor to be a tall grower, but I'm not. Well, that's very, very possible and very, very likely. So I don't want you to think that that omits you from having confidence issues, because it does not. That is just one factor in a whole grand scheme of things that can influence that part of you, that it can influence your confidence growth. Number 2, know if you had relationship factors that either further prohibited your growth or destroyed what confidence you had grown. This would be a relationship maybe that you had after you left home, you got married, you had boyfriends, girlfriends, intimate relationships, friend relationships. It could have been any teacher relationships. It could be anybody who you came in contact with as a young adult or as an adult or an older adult who tore you down, basically. And maybe you never met anybody like this before, and it was a very confusing time. The people who tear down confidence don't know that they're doing it. Some of them do, some of them don't. There's not an awareness there. They have a mind that needs some help, and they have learned some pretty toxic coping skills to get their needs met, and that includes bulldozing over other people. They become bullies, and they've learned that works, and they continue to use that even as an adult, or they have a very selfish nature, and it doesn't make them all bad. This is what makes it so confusing, that they can do loving things for you. They can show love. They can show kindness, and they don't always have a selfish motive behind it, but most of the time they do. It's hidden somewhere, and if you dig deep enough, you'll find it. But they don't even have to have a selfish motive. They can actually do it from the kindness of their heart. But then they can swing to a whole different spectrum, and you see this extreme within them, and that extreme is very confusing to your mind because you're trying to make sense of good person, bad person, stay, go, run, hide, embrace them. I don't know what to do. So you're trying to make sense of this, and it doesn't really fit in any of the boxes you've ever seen before. So you don't know what to do with this person. Number 3, do your work to understand, release the pain, and move on from the past. Number 4, start fresh with a new plant by setting up a nurturing environment. So I'm going to talk to you today as if you've gone through this course, and up to this point, you kind of know, you kind of get your environmental and genetic factors. You kind of know those relationships that were not so healthy for your confidence growth, tore you down. You've had to recover from them. You've done your work. You've looked deeper, and you've come to a place where you can understand more about yourself, about your mental tendencies. You've talked to your inner child. You've let them release the pain of some of these experiences of not being able to grow, and you're ready. You're ready to move on. And so today I want you to just imagine that I'm handing you this fresh little plant, and you have enough knowledge. You don't have to do this. You don't have to be perfect. You may still have stuff in your basement that needs explored. It's okay. Don't think, oh no, I can't start with my plant and with what we're doing in this lesson today because it's not all perfect yet, and I don't have everything all sorted out the way it should be, or I'm not sure if it is or not. Don't let that stop you. Know that you can let me give you this little fresh plant today, and you can go ahead and start doing the things that I'm talking about in this lesson. And while you're taking care of this plant, you can also still be learning about yourself, learning about your genetic factors, learning about your 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 growing up years, learning about those old relationships. You don't have to have this all completely done and perfect before you can start growing. Okay? I want you to start growing now. And I want you to learn how to set up a nurturing environment. This is very important that we go ahead and start. Start where you are, okay? So just imagine I'm handing you this fresh little, brand new little confidence plant. All is not lost. There is hope for you. I know sometimes our minds say, oh, at my age, like, how am I supposed to start growing? It doesn't matter what age you are, what you've been through in the past. You can grow your confidence. So here we go. Let's discuss how to set up a nurturing environment for confidence growth. You must identify the scissor holders in your life and begin to set some boundaries. Make a list of anyone who makes you feel less than, talks down to you, calls you crazy, makes fun of you, laughs at your beliefs or how you live your life, makes you question and doubt yourself. Anyone whose energy scares or overpowers you. Anyone, I said that already, but makes fun of you. Those are the people who are holding scissors. Think about if you had a little baby plant, who in your life would you not trust to care for it? And that would be these people we just talked about. Does it make them bad? No, doesn't make anybody a bad person. It just means they have some very inconsiderate, insensitive ways of interacting with other people. They don't know you. They don't know where you've been. They don't know how you've been torn down. And the way they carry themselves, the way they speak to you is not conducive to your growth at this point. It doesn't mean you can't ever be around them again. It doesn't mean that you forever and always have to say goodbye to them. It just means right now, while your little plant is tender, we need to kind of distance and limit our interactions with these people as we grow strong enough to handle how they are, to know that, you know, that's just the things they say. My dad was I don't want to say the worst at this, but my dad was he didn't really have a filter, and he didn't really think about, he liked to joke and he liked to be funny. And growing up, I got this, like, because I had kind of the same personality that he had, and I liked it. I liked when he would say things, and I didn't take offense by it. It felt to me like he was giving me attention. That's how I took it. But I don't think everybody and all of my family members felt that way about the things that he would say. So he would say things such as, like, if I said, "Oh, I've got a head," I had headaches a lot when I was growing up, still do sometimes, not as much as I used to, but he would say, "Oh, if I had a head like that, it would hurt too." And to me, that was funny. To me, I I knew he didn't mean it. I knew he was joking. I knew he was playing with me, and playing with me meant uh, a positive kind of interaction, a positive kind of attention. But I was an activator, and I enjoyed that kind of thing. And um, other people in my family did not, and I could tell it hurt them. Like, the things that he would say, they took offense to it and felt like he didn't love them or he was being mean to them. And so we can all take things, people may not, they might be holding scissors, but they may not be trying to cut your plant down, but it's the way you perceive them. So whether they mean or intending to cut you down, or you're just perceiving that they're trying to cut you down, doesn't matter. I want you to put them on the list, and I want you to protect yourself for the next 3 days, maybe even more, till you get strong enough in knowing yourself and keeping yourself safe that you can interact with someone like that and not feel torn down by them. That's what I want for you. So, once you have your list, make a plan for the next 3 days at least to limit contact or communication with this person if possible. If you are married to them or live in the same house with them, you have to work with them. Listen to this shielding from judgment and criticism and claiming your space to grow meditation once a day. We will use that meditation to slowly create more and more space for you to safely be yourself in your own home and in the world. So actually these are two separate meditations, and one will help you kind of just relax in the face of judgment and criticism and not take that into your space. And one will help you push out the more powerful energies that kind of smother you and take up all the space and give you more space to grow. So those will be two good meditations to keep in your toolkit. Now make a list of people in your life that you would trust to come near your new little plant. They don't cut you down. They are kind and loving and encouraging and non-judgmental or critical. They nurture and give you space to be who you are without wanting or needing to control you. They have little or no expectations of you. If you engage with anyone over the next 3 days, it should be them. So these are the people who are very non-threatening. They don't take up all the space. Their energy is not overpowering. Now, some people, you have to look at, are they, yes, maybe they are putting out a lot of confidence, but it may not be overconfidence on their part. It may be that you have such a low confidence that it feels overpowering to you because you've not grown yours yet. So this is a very, just like, are they actually trying to cut you down, or are you perceiving that they're trying to cut you down? Are they overpowering you, or are you perceiving that they're overpowering you because of a weakness on your side? So it's kind of difficult to tell, but I don't want you to have to try to figure that out right now. I just want you to know who your safe people are, and as you grow in confidence, this will become more evident to you. Was it all of them, or was it some of me and my sensitivities? So that will become more apparent as you start to grow in confidence. I don't want you to worry about that right now. I want you to know that that is a possibility, but I don't want you to try to figure it out. So I want you to just go with what you know to be true right now. And as you grow your confidence, you may be able to see more things about yourself and about them that you weren't able to see before. Space to grow your confidence. Be very picky and selective with the space around your plant. You need room to grow. If someone in your life takes up all the space, you will need to begin reclaiming a healthy balance of space. I do not expect you to do this at first, as you may not be strong enough yet to push their energy back out of your space. I just want you to be aware of it for now. I want you to be strong enough within your own inner relationship to realize it's okay to push back. No, the other person who is used to dominating all the space and energy as if they were the sun and the world revolves around them won't like it. They won't like to hear no. They won't like seeing you put the needs of your own inner child first. They will probably call you selfish. Let's talk about selfish and what selfish is and what selfish is not. Selfish is when you want your space and your energy and everyone else's space and energy also. That is selfish. Using what belongs to you is not selfish. Using what belongs to you and everyone else is selfish. When you start to push back, they will wonder what is up with you. They may even tell you something's wrong with you and you need help. Hold on to the truth. Know what you're doing. You are simply creating a healthier balance and a more fair balance within the relationship. This is a good thing. They will feel that they are losing ground with you because they are. They may even say those words. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like you're pushing me away. You're not pushing them away. You're pushing their strong, overpowering, taking up all the space kind of energy. And they won't like it. This will challenge them. Then they may challenge you. I've had friends in my life who just expected that I should always make exceptions for them. When we make exceptions, we are dishonoring the boundaries we set in place to keep ourselves balanced and calm. We are saying that their inner child getting its needs met is more important than our own. We are denying and suppressing our own inner child when we do this. We allow stress in, and our inner child becomes full of anger and resentment. I still struggle to honor my boundaries and remember why I set them up in the first place. Now let's look at the boundaries you need to set to keep your inner child feeling calm and relaxed. Define and protect your boundaries. This is so important. And if you have trouble making choices and decisions, or you're just mentally lazy and you've never really wanted to think about this and you're just kind of a go with the flow kind of person, it's time. It's overtime. If you're tired of being taken advantage of, if you're tired of everybody else using your energy, if you're tired of always saying yes, this is what you have to do to prevent that. You can't just wish everybody would leave you alone. You have to stand firmly in this space of caretaker, and you have to take ownership of it. And part of that taking ownership of it is defining and protecting your boundaries. So there is things that you have to do. This freedom and this being able to be who you are doesn't just come. Like, it comes, you have to put the work into it. You have to pay the price, basically. And the price is other people won't like it. And you have to stand firm in who you are and who your boundaries. And if you're a people pleaser, that is a challenge. But you have to do things. You can't just hope that this happens one day. You have to change. You have to stand up for yourself, and you have to stand strong in who you are. And that takes practice. That takes courage. It takes being willing to know what is okay with you. It takes putting forth the energy and not just being lazy and saying, oh, I don't know, I don't want to have to figure it out. You need to know. You need to know what kind of day you want to have. You need to know how you want to spend your energy. So let's do that now. What do you need? What do you want to do with your time and energy? We are practicing our making choices now. You need to give it some thought, because if you don't plan ahead and allow time for what you want to do and how you want to use your time, the door is wide open for others to use it and take it all. And they will. Trust me, they will. There are some people out there that know exactly what they want. And if you're not using your energy for you, they'll come in and they'll give you something to do. They will find you something to do for them. You need fences around your space and your time. This is your life. Decide when you will do certain things and honor that decision. I had to do this with my work schedule. I thought about all the different things that I do. I thought about the things I really enjoyed doing and those I didn't enjoy doing. I thought about what was taking up the majority of my time or causing me stress, and asked myself why I was doing that task. I had to take a time inventory to see where it was all going. And this is out of my box of things I like to do. I'm not, as I've told you, a detail person. So I just I'm mentally lazy when it comes to that. I don't want to think about it. But I realized if I wanted this to change, that I had to sit down and actually look at where all my time was going during the day and who was taking it all. Who was taking ownership of it? Who was telling me what to do all the time? Who was expecting things from me? And I had to say, okay, well, what do I like? What do I not like? What do I want to do? What's okay with me? What's not okay with me? I had to put the energy forth to find this out for myself. I ask, was what I was doing for someone else? Were they expecting me to do it? Did they want me to do it because they didn't want to do it themselves? Was it worth my time? Your time is your life. When you are spending your time on something, you are spending your life. Your life belongs to you. It's time to be very choosy with how you spend it. I set my schedule. I decided how many hours a day I wanted to spend on writing and how many hours a week I wanted to spend on sessions. This control over my own time has been like a huge relief. I've defined what works for me, and I'm strong enough to protect my boundaries from people who want to use the friend card or the guilt card to push through my fences. Even if I know I have time to do it or I could do it, I still say no. And every time I do, I feel my inner child smile inside. It feels protected and loved by me when I don't bend my fences for other people. That is worth more to me than anyone else's temporary happiness because they got something they wanted in that moment. You'll need to do this for yourself. If you raise your hand as a doormat, a people pleaser, you always say yes. This is why this is happening to you. You're not a victim here. Like, yes, maybe you are a victim of someone overpowering your energy, but don't be a victim. You take a choice, like you have a choice. I always say a true victim is someone who doesn't have a choice. You are choosing to allow this to continue to happen to you by not taking the time to define your boundaries and to start to practice some strength in protecting those boundaries. You are choosing, therefore, you are not a victim. You are not a victim of these other people. They are not making you the doormat. You are choosing to stay the doormat because you're not saying, okay, wait a minute, I want to change this. I don't want to just hold the label of doormat. I want to change this. And I can change this if I'm willing to put forth the time and the energy. So I don't want you to think of yourself that you're always going to have to be this. You have to do something. You'll have to do something different. You can't just whine about it. You have to do something different and say, I'm going to change this. And they won't like it. They don't like to hear no because you're easy and you've always done it and you've always bended your fence. You don't even have any fences. So it's just whatever they wanted, but you are suffering. Your inner child is saying, could you please stand up for me? Could you please protect me? Could you please protect my time? Could you please stop saying yes to everybody? And it is growing in resentment and anger. And so it's time, okay? It is time to stop that resentment and anger and victimhood and say there's only one way to change that. I have to change it. I can't just wish they would stop doing this to me. I have to set my boundary and I have to protect it. Okay, that's enough preaching at you about that. You get the point. You have some responsibility in this, okay? Your time is your life, so you should choose how to spend it. Let's look at protecting your growing confidence from yourself. Watch your language. Make sure your self-talk is kind, loving, and nurturing. Be patient and tolerant with yourself. You are learning. You are not perfect and never will be. I still catch myself saying hurtful things to my inner child, and I have to say, oh, nope, we don't say that anymore. That is not true, and I am sorry that I said that. I heard myself the other day. In my head, I said, oh my God, I'm so stupid for doing that. And I went, no, 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 no. I don't say that to my inner child. I am not stupid. It happened, and I made a choice. I would probably make a different choice now, but I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. So you still, like, it's tricky. You have to be on your toes with what you're saying to yourself inside your head. So I said, that's not true, and I'm sorry that I said that. This takes time and practice. Your language can either fertilize your little growing plant or poison it. So be aware and be careful. Finding the balance in your relationships. This is the third ingredient here. So you want to set your boundaries, know what you want and what you don't. Allow yourself space to be who you are, and then you have to protect that from other people, and you have to protect that from yourself, and then you have to find the balance in your relationships. If you practice and apply what you've learned here, you will first strike that balance within yourself. Your caretaker will allow the inner child a safe space to express and be itself. As this develops, the caretaker will then become strong enough in the inner relationship to want to protect the inner child from the mind of others. If you're still hating your inner child, you're not going to protect it from anybody, and you're the biggest abuser. So you've got to love that inner child before any of this works, okay? It will hold its ground and its balance. We're talking about the caretaker. It will hold its ground and its balance in the face of tall growers or those who want to dominate the relationship with control or selfishness. It will develop discernment of healthy minds to engage with and those who may not be the safest environment for your mind at this point or ever. When I say at this point, I just mean you're not strong enough yet to just see that that's just how they are. It still gets to your inner child. Once you are stronger, you may be able to be around them and you're just like, oh, that's just how they are, and it doesn't hurt your inner child. Or they may always be a risk for your inner child. So you need to determine that in every moment. Where you are right now determines that. And again, that doesn't mean always. It just means the strength level that you are at this moment can't handle their minds and how they are. Again, doesn't make them wrong, doesn't mean they're intentionally trying to cut you down, just means at this moment where you are in your strength level, they're not good for you. Okay? Then once your mind's able to handle it better, your caretaker says, oh, they're just, just who they are. It's just how they are. And your inner child's totally unaffected, doesn't feel any pain or hurt from them. Your confidence plant's fine and protected in their presence. Then you can be around them. And again, there will be some people that could just squash you, So, you need to just always be aware of who and what you're dealing with and what you can handle and how strong you are to hold your space in the presence of that person. Okay. You will know how to accomplish healthy self-reflection. You will know when it's something that you need to take responsibility for and change. You also know when it is not. A lot of people who self-reflect too much, all the time, it's always them, they self-doubt themselves. There's got to be a balance here where we know how to self-reflect, but once we've done that little self-check of, okay, was I too much this? Did I do that again? Did I do an old bad habit? And you check, no, I did not. Then you need to say, okay, well, then I'm good. It was not me. There's nothing I need to change. And no matter, even if you did check some boxes, yes, don't attack yourself for it. Just know that, oh, okay, well, we're going to do this differently next time. Because remember, we don't cut ourselves down anymore. We don't ever want to go overboard with our confidence to the point that we forget how to self-reflect. So as we're growing this confidence, we should always check in to see if we have overstepped a boundary and need to take responsibility and apologize. Being confident doesn't make you perfect. Being confident lets you hang out in a healthy space, someplace between doormat and cocky. So, as I have said repeatedly throughout this course, confidence is a balance. And as you're growing in confidence and you're holding that space within yourself and you come into contact with another person who everybody's at different levels of confidence. So we're trying to find that balance. We don't want to become overly confident where now we become a tall grower in the relationship and we're squashing other people, as in we know best and we're giving them advice and telling them, oh, you should do this and I did this and you did that and you should be doing this for yourself and you need to fix yourself. We don't want to become that. That's overly confident. That is not our business. We should not impose our beliefs and what we've done personally for our self-work onto other people unless they're asking for it. If they're coming to you asking, Sure, share what you've done. Share your experience with them. Say, it might help you, it might not, I don't know. Take it or leave it. Like, we don't want to overdo it. So, even though you're taking this because you feel like you have low confidence, you always have to remember that your confidence levels change in every interaction. You're not always the doormat. You're not always um, you can kind of be more towards that side with every interaction, but it changes depending on who you're interacting with. And you'll notice that. You'll notice the balance kind of shifts. Like with some people, it's easy to maintain that balance in the middle of the seesaw. And with some people, oh, whoa, you can tell that they're not comfortable with themselves. They're even more shy than you are. They're um you can tell. You can tell, and in those instances you hold more of the power, even though you don't see yourself as an overly confident person. And you'll have to be careful with that power. You'll have to know this and be aware of, oh, okay, well, they're a little more they haven't found that space within themselves, so I'm going to make sure to be a safe space for that person and not overpower. Maybe tone it down for them just a little bit out of consideration, just because they don't know how to do it yet, and it might scare them or intimidate them, and you don't want to do that. So it's such a delicate delicate practice, this confidence thing. Okay, so as you have taken this course, I'm sure you have seen both negative things you have done to others as well as negative things that have been done to you. You can see yourself in all of it, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure you can see spaces where, oops, oh God, yep, I do that. Gonna have to take ownership of that one. And you can also say, oh yeah, oh my God, I'm in a relationship like that and they overpower me and they do this and that. Again, this is not to make other people out to be bad, evil, the bad guy, the to be hated, to be no. We want to, no matter who has done what in the past, we want to come at everything and everyone with love, patience, tolerance, and understanding. None of us are perfect and never will be. Again, this is a delicate balance. However, we can work towards finding and maintaining that healthy confidence balance within relationships, within ourselves, and become the safe space for others to find that balance. Thank you so much for taking this course. Please feel free to take as much time with each and every lesson. Go back through them as you need to refresh or need to remember things. And yeah, thanks for trusting me to give you this information. And I hope to see you again on any and every course that I have coming up in the future. Thank you so much.